My name's Charles.Johns, from Pike County, Alabama, town called Brundidge. Currently locked up in Blue Correctional Center in Union Spring, Alabama. I'm serving a life sentence. And one reason why I'm serving a life sentence, I'm willing to stand up for me and my family life. See, Pike County Probate is supposed to represent the state of Alabama. Feel that because of me and my family's life, we don't have the same right as white folks in the state of Alabama. If we don't have the right to stake our property or the benefit from our property, or enjoy the benefit from our property. See, Pike County feels that them rules don't apply to us because of life. And this is how the story began. One day, me and my family decided that we want to stake our property. So I go up to Troy, Alabama, Pike County Courthouse, to see Mr. Curtis Black, tax assessor. I was approaching him several times for trying to get a description of the property. He finally told me his word that Judge Barr told him not to give me any information concerning my property, no matter what. So I go to probate Judge Stone and ask him for a legal description. I was approaching him several times. He told me that the only way that he gonna give me a copy of that deed is through a federal court order. After he refused to give me this information, I decided that I hired me a lawyer. I hired D.J. Tyler, such out of Tallahassee, Alabama. A couple of days later, I meet the young man up in front of the courthouse, and he gave me some documents. I looked at the paper and had the Johnson, the Caldwell, J.T. Randall, and Emerson Warehouse, and a few other names. And I asked him, I said, what did it have to do with me and my sister and brother? Our name is not on there. He said, this is all I'm lying to give you. It's all they told me I can give you. I said, who told you that? He didn't respond. So after I couldn't get him to do nothing, I go to Montgomery, Alabama, get Parnell and Cron to do a title set for me. After 2 days, I met Mr. Cron in his office, and he told me that he was going to give my money back. That Judge Barr and Jim Ramsey got too much corruption going on for him. And he asked his secretary to cut me a check and give him my money back. So after he wouldn't help me, I go to a lawyer in Florida that my brother-in-law had referred me to that lived in Florida. I explained to him my situation. He told me to get back in 7 days. 3 days later, I called him, and he told me, he said, look, Charles, I ain't going to take on the state of Alabama on your state. What you mean take on the state of Alabama? He said, I'm not going to take on the state of Alabama. So he gave my money back. So after that, I go to Montgomery and hired Mr. G. McPhilly and Schimbaugh, well-known lawyer around the state of Alabama. After dealing with Mrs. Mike Phillip, he said that Carol Perkins was the man that do all his title set. But after several times dealing with Mr. Perkins, he called me one day and told me that he discovered that we got 2,500 acres of land. I said, wow, that's a lot compared to what we thought we had. We considered it to be 6 acres. So he told me that they willing to give us the 2,500 acres, but they won't keep the 50 acres. That they had built all over. And I told him who the 50 acres belonged to. He said, you and your family. I said, well, we want the 50 acres too. He told me that he'd get back with me. 2 days later, he called me. He told me to come up to his office. While I was in his office, he was talking, and the conversation came up. He said, He said, Charles, you don't know what these people are thinking about. He said, ain't nowhere in here they can get away with this. See, these folks have lost their damn mind. And I asked him, I said, well, who is the folks? He wouldn't say it. So, the next person I had a conversation with was Mr. Judy Mike Phillip. He told me, he said, Charles, this is a giant rattlesnake down there in Brundidge. He said, George Barr, Jim Ramsey, and Don Different. He said, ain't worried about it. And then him and the monster down there, I smacked him. He's the one I'm worried about. They're the one that got in the neck. They're the one that stained me. And I asked him what was going on. He said, I dropped the ball. I said, what you mean? He said, you know what I mean. I dropped the ball. I asked him what was going on. He said, I dropped the ball. I said, what you mean? He said, you know what I mean. I dropped the ball. I ain't ready to help you. But now, man, I'm paid this man $7,500 to do this title session. So I go to the state bar and I ask them for help. And several times approached them, they told me that they got a lawyer in Pike County that represent the bar for people who having problems with their land. And the lawyer name was Mr. Keith Watson. So, on the way to Mr. Watson's office, I thought about it, that I had dealt with him a few years back on some property. The same property that I'm talking about now. So when I go in his office, I got to talking to him, I told him that I'm going to tell the state bar that you gave me a bad deed. He told me, he said, I ain't gave you no bad deed, Charles. He said, I stand behind my deed. He said, everything on my deed, I stand behind. He said, but now what they do at that Pike County courthouse, that's a different story. I ain't no control of that. So I told him, I said, the state boss said, you got to probate my deed. And he went off. I'm talking about this man went and screamed and said, I told them, goddamn it. I told them, goddamn folks, they were going to get caught. I told them they should have settled your granddad and grandma when they had the chance. It's too late, man. It belongs to you and your sister and brother. And I asked him, I said, what are you talking about, man? What's going on here? And you need to get you a black lawyer and get all your stuff. It belongs to you and your family. He said, I don't care what the state boss said. He said, I ain't finna fight all them rich people. He said, I ain't finna do it. I don't care what they said. So now, I'm wondering what's going on. After being frustrated, disappointed, the fact that I couldn't get a legal description, I said I go to Montgomery to the Town of Brundidge office. I go up there and I talked to Assistant Attorney General Elder, explained to him about my situation, trying to get a copy of my deed or legal description. He told me to come back next week. He'll check into it. So the next week, I go back to his office. And as we were talking, I was telling him about what he found out. He began to smile. As I continued to talk, he began to laugh. So I asked him, I said, what the hell is so funny? He said, the idea that you paying tax on something you don't even know what it is. And I asked myself, what the hell so funny about that? I was gonna see how funny it was when I go down to the courthouse with my damn pistol and the man, a cop of mine did. So he turned red as a ball of fire. Sure enough, a few days later, I go to the Pike County Courthouse with my pistol, the man, the cop on my deed. When I walked in the probate office, Judge Stone come into the lobby out there. He said, Charles, what is you doing? He said, don't be, he said, what is you doing? I said, I want a copy of my deed. And then he said, okay. And then as he turned around to walk off, he thought about it. He said, I can't do it. I just can't do it, Charles. I can't do that. This man act like he went into a paranoid or something. But it wasn't me that he feels standing there with a gun. It was something he feels a lot worse than me. So a few minutes later, the sheriff came in. I put my gun down. They arrested me. They charged me with first-degree kidnapping. So I hired this attorney out of Dothan named Thomas Bradley to represent me. So when long after that, I made bond. When I made bond, Mr. Bradley said, Charles, I want you to wait for me in the parking lot. And he needed to talk to me. So I go out to the parking lot, wait for Mr. Bradley. Mr. Bradley come out there and ask me, he said, Charles, do you know what's going on? I said, yeah. I'm trying to get me a copy of my property. He said, no. And do you know what's going on for real? He said, what's your grandmama's name? I said, Johns. He said, no, not her. He said, your great-grandmama. I said, Henrietta-Johns. He said, you have no idea, do you? You have no idea what's going on here, do you? I said, what you mean? And if you have no idea who you is, do you? If you need to check your family history. I said, what my family history got to do with me staking out my property? He said, well, just check your family history. So 3 weeks later, I heard from Mr. Bradley. They called me to come down to his office. I go to his office down there in Dothan, Alabama. As we was in there talking, he told me, he said, Charles, you know, they want you to take a psychiatry test. I ain't got no problem with that. So we were talking. He said, Charles, he said, man, if we only knew what to say, we was on that stand, and you could slaughter them people. I said, what you mean? He said, only if you knew what to say. I said, well, tell me what I need to say then. And then he said, all the money there. He said, every penny of it is all there. He said, now it might take some time to unravel all this. He said, but everything there. And everything could be unraveled. I said, what is he talking about? So he jumped the subject. Then they started talking about, well, you know, if you don't show up at the psychiatry report, that they're going to snatch your bone and all this. He said, you need to make sure you be there. I said, I ain't got no problem with that. So I go to the psychiatrist. And me and the psychiatrist were talking. He said, Mr. Johns, he said, tell me what makes you think you can just go to the courthouse with a gun. I said, what? He said, explain to me what's going on now. I said, well, I don't think I'm trying to do it. Stake out my property. He said, what? He said, you mean all this just because you want to stake your property? I said, yes, sir. So he asked me, he said, well, could you just took a stake put on one corner and one on each, all four corners? I said, yes, sir, I could have did that. But then one of my neighbors said that I was on their property, and then we got in a big argument, and one of the guys heard the first thing they ever said that, well, you should have got somebody who knows, who did professional work. So after that, he told me, he said, oh, this shit ain't work now. I said, well, what you mean? So he told me to finish my story. As I finished my story, he told me to get back with me in a couple of weeks. So the next thing I know, I get a call from Mr. Thomas Bradley, and to meet him at the courthouse in Troy. I go to the courthouse in Troy. They were having a suppression hearing to suppress the psychiatric report that they didn't want it in there. And also the fact that I couldn't say nothing about the property. They want all that suppressed. So after that, Judge Head and Bishop Attorney McIntyre got up to leave. And they were getting ready to leave, I got up. He told me to sit down. When I sat down, he charged. He said, they want me to offer you a deal. It's not a deal they want me to offer you. He said, I ain't tell you to take it. I ain't tell you not to take it. He said, it's up to you. He said, you inherit 10,000 acres. I said, man, get the hell out of here for real. He said, yeah, 10,000 acres. I said, damn, that's a lot of land. And I asked him, well, what's the deal? He said, the deal is they want to give you 15 years. The deal is they want to give you 15 years and 5,000 acres. And they'll let somebody come in and do a title check for 5,000 acres. I told him, I said, man, they ain't finna do that. He said, well, Charlie, you know they're going to give you a life sentence, though. I said, I still ain't finna give them that much, not none of my property. They supposed to law their damn mind. So he jumped up. We were getting ready to go out the door. He was in front of me. As we were going out the door, he turned to go down the hall. I seen him talking down there. A bunch of gentlemen got around with suits. And he started shaking his head. Everybody began to turn red. He looked back at me and told me to go on into the courtroom. So I go into the courtroom. And after that, I was convicted of second-degree kidnapping. Now, all this took place just because one reason only. Because me and my family want to stake our profit off. There's no reason that any man has to go through all this just to stake their profit off. Something belongs to them. That's my conviction. I was sentenced to life in prison. Now I'm locked up in prison with a life sentence. Still ain't got a legal description of the property that I live on. Do I still have that problem? Now I'm locked up. Then I got the issue at what the lawyer meant. Like the lawyer out of Pensacola, Florida, told me he's not willing to take it on the state of Alabama. That's because I'm going to stake my property off. My woman, Mr. Klu Klux Klan, man. They folks should have settled with your granddad and grandma when they had a chance. Who should have settled with her? And why? And I got the issue asked to my lawyer, 2003 case, Mr. Thomas Grant. When he asked me, did I have any idea what's going on? I told him I was trying to stake my property on. And he said that you have no idea why they don't want you to stake this property on. He said, you need to check their family history. He strongly advised me to check my family history. So while I was out on loan, I got in touch with my cousin Joe. She called up somebody I never know before I got in touch with her. After we introduced ourselves to each other. Then he asked me, he said, I can't believe there's a Johns in Brundidge. He said, I never thought the day that I see a John be living in Brundidge. And I asked him why. Why you say that? He said, see that right, King? What happened? I said, no, what happened? These them white people, the Klu Klux Klan, jump on them, beat them, and chase them out of town. He didn't tell you about that cruel act that they did on him. I saw him. So I asked him, why he rather? Because they know his mother. He said, yeah, I know him. He said, he rather John. He rather Collier-Johns. He said, that was G.C. Collier-Johns. I'm the G.C. Collier. He said, yeah, G.C. Collier, the one that started the Town of Brundidge. And he rather was the half-breed dog. He said, man, that man had so much land everywhere. That man had all kind of land. And said when he died, his daughter inherited it. And boy, it was up there. So as I talked to him, he filled me in. So later on, I got in touch with my granddaddy great niece, Effie, who lived in Dayton, Ohio. I had seen once in my life when I was like maybe 10 or 11 years old. I was talking to her for a few minutes. And she asked me how I've been doing and how they've been doing. She finally came up and asked me, she said, baby, she said, couldn't she never ever get that property straightened out? I said, yeah, but I know. She said, no, baby, he ain't got it straightened out. I said, why you say that? No, baby, there was a lot of land. He said, all of us should have been rich. All our folks should have been way off. We had a lot of land. The white folk did our granddad and his sister and brother were bad. The Klan did them folks bad. And I can tell she was already in the age and she was signing with me. So I didn't question her no more about it. So I talked to her daughter, Adrian. And Adrian was talking about the same thing. So when I was in prison, I got thinking about that. About what Joe-Johns said. And every prophecy. I got to look back over my childhood. How a lot of my granddad was a Mason, 33rd degree. My grandmother was a high-ranking Eastern Star. And a lot of their friends were Eastern Star and Mason. And so on with them. And then I thought about that Miss Kaz and other members of the community, names I have mentioned earlier, how they would stop me and tell me about bits and pieces of my family history. Like, all over tell me about how they seen my granddad and his brother riding all over the town of Brundidge in their car with their suits on, well dressed. And they would also stop me when I'm by myself and tell me bits and pieces of the dark side of my family. And they would ask me, it's a shame the way them white people did your family. And I would say, what they do? And they would say, your granddad and grandma may told you what them folks did to them. They need to tell you. You need to know what these folks did. Each and every one would have their own way of saying that. They would also stop me again throughout the year and say that, oh, I used to work at the cotton field. Some would say about how they worked at the cotton field. Some of the ladies would say how they worked at the cotton field with my granddad and his family from sun to sundown about picking cotton. Also tell me about how that my granddad and grandma owned so much land. They were always pointing, oh, I used to work over here in this field full of cotton. I worked over here in this field full of cotton. Each one would give me a different direction of where they worked at. Like Mr. Clean Crew. We would stand up behind the Pike County Elementary School on this big hill where we see the town. And he would say, look, boy, you can see. And then, boy, get to that point, boy, you can see again. And all the way around, he'll bring that and he's on all this land. And he had other members of the community used to tell me the same thing. And then Mr. Canal Prusa, one morning, we woke up, and they ain't know the white folks were going around telling everybody that we own that now. That y'all pay rent to us and stuff like that. He said he had no idea that these folks had took over the land right then because he was a young boy. And so over the period of time, they would stop me again and ask me questions about my family history. And I would say I didn't know. They said, well, I'm going to get on your granddad and grandma. They need to tell you. So I'm thinking about this. In prison, people have witnessed something that they didn't want to let go. They want to let me know that they seen it. And I got to thinking about this while I was in prison, my family portrait that was taken between 1917 and 1919. The family portrait stood out. My granddad got his leg propped up on his Model T car. His brother standing on the other side of the car with his daughter. Henrietta and Charles.Johns sitting out front. My granddad's sister and brother now with their trench coats on, the women with their fur jackets on, and other vehicles they own in the background. And this is in 1917. So I got to thinking about what Miss Cass and the other members of the community were telling me about the wealth that this family had. And you can see it in all these different pictures. When my granddad and brother would take pictures where they well groomed, their suits on, each and every one, his sister and brother. So if something took place that the black community just don't want to die, the old folks continue to tell me this until they died off. Now I come to the public and ask for help. The only thing that me and my family are trying to do is stake off our property. We have a legal right to stake this property off. It belongs to me and my family. My family live on this property right now. We've been trying to get a legal description of this property over 20-something years. And everything leads back to what Mr. Brandon said. For the second time that me and him talked, that I need to check my family history. There's no argument about who owned the land or nothing like that. It's all about what happened in the past that these people don't want to come out. But no matter what they did in the past, they do not take me and my family right to have my property staked off. Somebody said, if anybody who listens to this, if you feel that me and my family have the same right as white people and stake their property off, can you please help me and my family in this situation?